Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow League of Legends lovers, welcome back once again to another Patch Notes review. Now, you might have noticed that this screen isn't the Patch Notes screen. This screen is a little bit different, and there's a reason for that. The reason is we have a lot to go through today. It's been 2 weeks since the last update, and usually this wouldn't be cause for concern or for anything different. But today, oh mama, this might be a long one, and I don't have too much time, and a lot of things have happened that have kept me very busy. In fact, I'm always fashionably late to the party. This is no different. I'm doing this a day later because I've been really, really busy, ironically enough, and I'm not bullshitting about that either. But regardless, as busy as I am, I will always find time for my passion, which is patch notes and streaming at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. But anyway, I want to start us off with a little bit of a different thing here. So this is going to be a very long patch, as I've been saying, because they are changing a lot of things. And the reason for that is because the new ranked split has started. And ironically enough, they're doing some pretty decently sized changes. Not huge, not like, preseason level of huge, but not small enough to really ignore either. And the first thing they're doing, which has no real impact on gameplay at all, but still has an impact to me, at least it would have more back in the day, now it's kind of whatever, but it still matters, is Champion Mastery. Now, this is going to change how we get chests. They did a whole devlog about this way earlier on, and I had no clue when the fuck this was coming out. And then they mentioned it was coming out today, May 15th. I think it's today at least. And I forgot, but now it's here. So this is cool. They're going to change everything with Mastery. It's no longer capped at level 7. It's going to be beyond that. And I thought this would be the perfect time and place to not only extend the video, make this even longer than it already is, but to also flex my stats and my prowess with my champion. So, Champion Mastery. Let's take a look at it. Unlimited leveling. Mastery levels are uncapped. You can endlessly upgrade your mastery as you play every single split. And then there's split mastery milestones. There's when you play games and get high grades to earn marks of mastery, mastery chests, and more. So this is basically how you get the chest. And I think from doing the math back in the day when they first revealed this, I don't know if they changed it, and I don't fully remember what they were doing anyway. But from what I did from the math, I think you overall get more chests with this new system, but I'm honestly not sure. But time will tell. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on it now, but I did want to take a look into it in the patch notes video because it is technically along with the patch. And obviously they updated the client too. Vanguard's new, but we'll see if we have to go into that as well. I believe I've went over that in other patch notes. But let's see. Play games, turn mastery score, earn high grades. Okay, level up what you've got and score. Okay, cool. So here we could see that we have 0 out of 12 milestones. So I believe this is for just every split. I think every split this resets. So this says split 1. Split ends May 15th. Oh, okay, it actually ends pretty soon. So this ends today, ironically enough. Holy shit. Wait, no, it should have ended already. This is weird. I'm not going to take too much of this, but we could see here that we have certain champions here. I'm confused why. I don't believe we need to play just these people, although that would be a little weird if we did. But yeah, we can see all our mastery here. We'll go to my top one, which I believe is Jin, which should be around here. But yeah, we're out with the old, in with the new. Here we have Garen. We have level 28. Look at that. Wow. I'm really curious how they determine these. So let me find Jay. Let me get rid of my dyslexia real quick. Here he is. Here's Jin. And we have Jinx too. Jin's my highest though. Wow. So what even is this? What is this shit? Ability. Here we go. Mastery. Let's go to mastery. So he's level 43. So they are still keeping the score you have on them. So that's not going away. It's just now level 7, level 6, and all that stuff is gone. So let me actually take a look at my loot here. Oh, look at it. It tells us too. So all the mastery 6 tokens, which would have been at the bottom here, are now gone. So now you don't have to save your champion charge. You could just disenchant those. Because I was saving mine to get them level 7, but now that's out of the way. So anyway, let's go back to Jin. Let's take a quick look at this before we really hop into the patch notes here. So let's see Jin. So mastery. It seems that milestone B. Oh, so those are the grades you have to get. So you have to get a B minus or higher or a C minus or higher 4 times. Okay, I'm not too sure what marks of mastery really do, but you seem to get 2 chests per champion per split. Okay, I see how it is now. All right. and then split 1. Okay, so I'm assuming this is going to change after today because this was just introduced. But okay, how it works. Here we go. So play games. Okay, milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 4. So I don't understand what marks of mastery really do, but maybe they might go into that in the patch notes. But either way, let's go to the home screen. Also, what is all this other stuff? There's an event hub for, I'm assuming, MSI. Oh yeah, no, that's that. They have a thing to Legends of Runeterra. For those of you who don't know, I mean, this is kind of unrelated to the patch notes for League itself, but for Legends of Runeterra, and also, this is not the right patch notes. Wow, I have to get the right patch notes here. Only the best for, you know, my patch note video. So hold on, let me get that real quick. I actually have the link to it right here. I can't believe it's not on the client yet. That's kind of surprising, but that is A-okay. We will simply move to Google where it is right here. So I guess showing the client was easy anyway. But here we go. Patch 14.10, which has come out yesterday. So again, we're a day late. But either way, let me just make sure everything on League is clear here. Yeah, but anyway, going into Legends of Runeterra here. Legends of Runeterra is pretty much doing so bad financially, even though it's such a good game, it's so fair to the players that they're now advertising it in the client, which is hilarious. But anyway, let's finally get into the patch. So this is patch 14.10. So like I said, this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a big boy one. They're already updating the mastery, and they're going to update a lot of other stuff too. So we're going to see that. So let's get right into it because the new split is starting. Anyway, patch 14.10 coming through, which means split 2 is finally here. So for everyone who got gold and above, congratulations. You got the prestige, or no, not prestige. Or is it? No, it's not prestige. It's victorious. That's what it was. You got the victorious Kog'Maw skin. Whoopee. Not as good as other skins, but better than nothing. Either way, we have quite a bit of stuff dropping in patch 14.10, which is going to be amazing for me because I have to go in about an hour and a half, but hopefully it won't be that long. So split 1 ends and split 2 starts. Details, okay. Legends of Runeterra comes to League client, which I'm assuming just links you to Legends of Runeterra, unless you could play the whole game in the client, which would actually be insane, and it would actually give you something to do while you're waiting for a game, which is one of the biggest complaints I have about League and every other game. It's one of the few things that Overwatch actually does right. You can do stuff while you're waiting for a game, which is really good. Either way, champion mastery updates, tons of arena adjustments, thank goodness, and lots of item and rune changes, alongside a couple of system changes to XP and gold gain. Also keep an eye out for the new Fairy Court skins that are now available, and again, you know, I'll always say it, rest in peace Surrender at 20, because I would have known about these, but I don't know. Which is kind of good, because I always want the skins to be a surprise, and back in the day, nothing was a surprise, because Surrender at 20 was so good at what it did. It was basically the hub for League news. Now that it's no longer there, again, still rest in peace, but now that it's not here, I'm actually surprised by some of the stuff, which is in its own way pretty good. But anyway, for some champion highlights, we have a pretty big rework of Corki, which is actually crazy because he's mostly a mid laner, no longer a bot laner. They're giving him some bot lane viability alongside getting him away from his past, the package-based gameplay, which is true. Some tweaks, even though he's a late game animal. Some tweaks to Cassante, who's, you know, he's basically the new Yuumi. He's never gonna not get changed at this point. And Skarnu, who I thought was extremely weak, and then he was extremely strong, and now I don't know where he landed. Some adjustments to give Viego a bit more lane presence, which is kind of disgusting, and set some small jungle viability. I don't know why the fuck they're doing that. They're literally switching Set and Viego's, like, cores, but okay. For ranked players, welcome to the second split of 2024, which is something I'm going to have to play, but that's good because I recently probably got my duo buddy back, but we'll see. This massive patch includes a full-scale item update for Marksman. I'm very excited about this, but very apprehensive. We all know how I feel about Marksman and what Riot does to us. And other auto attackers, now granting 25% crit per item and sunsetting the stat profile of crit plus AD plus attack speed on any individual items. That's very interesting. We'll talk about that as it comes. Tanks, enchanters, mages, and fighters have received meaningful, albeit smaller, updates as well. Now, every single time all classes have gotten an update, ADCs have gotten the shaft. This is where even for this new season, right? For like the start of 2024, for patch, what are we in, season 14? Yeah, 14.1, ADs barely got any changes. They got some, and Hashinshin basically made sure ADCs knew they were done with the Kraken Slayer buffs. But overall, ADCs, in my opinion, got the least. Mages probably got the most after fighters and everyone else. Or not, before fighters and everyone else, rather. But ADCs usually get shafted, so I'm curious to see how ADC-centric this is, and if it's actually a buff or not. I'm really scared. ADC is, as everyone knows, my favorite fucking role, so I really hope they do it right. Either way, we've removed or replaced a dozen of runes that were significantly weak or unpopular. Now, I will say this, I already know a little bit about what's happening because you literally can't ignore the amount of stuff they're doing here. It was so big, I couldn't avoid spoilers. So I know they're removing lethal tempo, and I have a lot to say about that, but we're going to see. We've also made game-wide adjustments to experience and gold with the hopes of giving junglers and bot laners a leg up in the mid-game without taking over afterwards. Which is what bot laners are supposed to do. I don't know about junglers. But either way, let's look at the highlights. And by that, I mean let's skip it. So, player profile update. We're moving the player profiles inside of the social panel in order to consolidate client navigation. AKA, they needed more space. You can still customize your identity by going into your profile and clicking on the banner there. Whoopee, I don't really care. LOR, you can now easily access the award-winning card game that's not making the money, Legends of Runeterra, right from the League client. You'll find the button right next to TFT, which will redirect you to play or install Legends of Runeterra in your Riot client. Legends of Runeterra is also available on both mobile, Android, and iOS. Da, da, da. So can you play it in the League client? Because if you can, this is great. If you can't, then fuck this. Pop your favorite chat. Okay, cool. I don't care. So let's see. If you're looking for the latest and greatest on LOR, you can check it here. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm somewhat tempted to click it here in the client right now, which is what I'm going to do. It has an arrow on it that says it's going to go somewhere else, and I'm clicking it and nothing's happening. So, oh, never mind. It's working. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, it just brings you to the different game in the client. I don't know why they would do that. I think it's a last-ditch effort to just get more players to it, honestly. Like, there's literally no reason for them to do this, I feel like. But anyway, let's keep going. So, where are we at? Champion Mastery. Here we go. The new and evolved Champion Mastery system is coming to League this patch. Thank goodness, it's been long enough. This should have came at the beginning of the year, but it is what it is. Champions are the core of League, and everyone has their favorites. I know I do. And Champion Mastery helps reflect the passion in game. I think Champion Mastery historically has been a great addition. I think they've always wanted to take it further, and I think it's good for them to take it further. Any company, at this point in time, if they want to remain relevant, they can't be stagnant. They have to keep reiterating, they have to keep improving. They literally can't just leave something. They can leave it for a while, but eventually they have to go back to it and improve it. That's just the way things are nowadays. You know, live service and everything like that. So, the mastery system was good. They always teased they wanted to do more. They want to go past level 7. And they finally settled on something. Now, whether it's better or not, I guess we'll see. But so far, I think it's going to be better. But, you know, we'll take a look. So, it's also the way more players express skill growth, especially for those who don't play ranked. So it's basically saying how much of a loser you are on your champion, how much you made them. We're updating Champion Mastery to improve the system for players in a way that lives up to its promise. For example, you don't really stop mastering champions once you hit 7. That's true, but that's also what the numbers are for. That's to show you have like 15 million mastery score on Jungle Bronze Garen. And one of our goals with this update was to reflect that, but that's not all we have coming with this update. We're also adding the following. Uncapped Champion Mastery levels, which realistically changes nothing because now it's just more to keep track of. Like before, you would base it off mastery score, and the level would stay at 7, but the score would ever increase. Now both are ever increasing, but, you know, what does it matter, really? Per split mastery progression and rewards, which is the chests. Per split mastery champion sets and rewards, same shit. Unlockable champion titles for level 10 mastery. That's something I'm interested in. If you're looking for more information on these changes, make sure to read our devlog, which I'm going to read again, not on video, though, here. I'm going to read that on my own, but it's there. If you're looking for all the nitty-gritty. Cool. Actually, let me read it real quick. If we're going to make this video long, we'll make it hella long. Fuck it. This was 4 months ago, so let's see. Okay, same shit. Leveling changes. Uncapping mastery levels, okay. Marks of mastery, okay. A new mechanic replacing the current system of S-grade tokens. So what does Marks of Mastery do? They'll be earned by jumping your ability each split, okay. But eventually we hope to extend the mechanic to reward marks for all sorts of specific accomplishments. But what does that mean? So from 1 to 4 you need nothing, and then after that you need to spend the marks to level them up. Okay. So me getting level 43 Jin was just because he was that high, but to get him further, now I need to spend marks. Okay. Those of you who attend a master score, don't worry, we won't be resetting progress. When the system launches, you'll get bonus marks based on your extra score for a one-time big infusion of levels. Okay, so that's what they did with Jin. And then here we go with the crests, so that really doesn't matter. That's just visual split rewards. There we go. And so the mastery marks are literally just to increase the level, so that's fine. Okay. Champion title unlocks until next split. Our goal is to give players an increase to the average number of chests they can earn per year. Cool. Mastery sets. Okay, okay, so not really much different. Kind of just the same shit. Okay, here we go. Ranked. Let's read this. So soon after patch 14.10, Split 2 of Season 2024 will start at May 15th at noon local time. Similar to previous seasons, the Split transition account transfer, so they're going to shut everything down. It's going to be disabled. Players will be able to place as high as Diamond 3 after provisionals if you were Emerald 1. Demotion, okay, will be removed. Players will fluidly transition. Nice. Demoting from tiers will place players at 25, 50, 75. Nice. So this is actually where you'll get to know kind of your MMR, because if you're placed at below 75, you kind of suck dick. Master Duo will be enabled. Cool. And then Apex Duo MMR. No one cares. All right, cool. So ranks resetting. There we go. So, system changes. These are pretty big. We're modifying gold and experience income with the hope of closing some durability disparities across several roles. Bot laners and junglers tend to be 1 to 2 levels behind solo laners, which kind of makes sense because they're sharing XP. And the mid game before catching up late game due to champion kill experience. We're bringing up the mid game levels by tweaking duo XP and early monster XP. Then to keep them from shooting ahead of solo laners, the junglers, bot laners, we're bringing down late game assisted kill XP. We're also making some adjustments to gold income. As mentioned before, junglers and bot laners tend to shoot ahead in the late game because they are scaling. So we're lowering a little bit of PvP gold. Oh, wow. So that kind of hurts everyone across the board. Holy shit. So duo plus experience is going up. Jungle monsters going up by like 5. Riot's favorite number. Scuttle Crab is going up. Cool. And then shared champion kill is going down. Okay, cool. By like 10%. Nice. And then gold is slightly going down as well. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So yeah, exactly what they're saying. I mean, we have to see how this works in game. The biggest thing I'm curious though is Corki. Let's see Corki here. So Corki was very package oriented, especially in pro play and higher rank play. Obviously Corki scales like a fucking truck, but most of the time games don't last that long anyway, and the package was just really that good. It was better than Rumble ult. Like, let's be real. So I guess they didn't like that. Corki used to be a bot laner. He's not anymore. He was very unique though. He's a very unique champion. But let's see what they're doing to him. The package has been removed. That is insanity. Corki's passive now deals bonus true damage, and most of his abilities have been buffed and converted to physical. So I don't think he's going to be building mixed damage, but let's see. We're delivering a huge update to Corki this patch, but they don't want to give him a VGU. He literally has less than 1 minute of voice lines. Returning parts of him to long past versions with true damage on his passive and no packages to pick up. So they want to give Corki the power he deserves without turning his pro games into stale, boring poke fests. Wow. We want Corki to be a relatively easy to play aggressive champion who's pressured to the end game before his opponents outscale him. I see. To do that, he'll be rewarded for aggressive cooperative moves and shredding his opponent's resists while he gangs up on his prey with teammates. His damage is being converted largely into physical, and he'll be rewarded for repeated auto attacks against opponents. Wow. Tying much of his ultimate power behind auto attacks to refund ammo. We're shifting power on to make sure each of his buttons has a place at all points in time. Wow. Turning his late game pattern into an all-out assault with his entire kit. So yeah, previously before this, Corki was pretty much just like a burst champion. Like, he would poke you down and then just insta-burst you, especially if he was going mid lane. But you really did not auto on Corki that much. It really was just like Q ult auto you're dead, or just ult 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 Q auto ult you're dead. So instead of just firing out his missile barrage from maximum range. We're also hoping that Corki will find a home in bot lane as well as mid lane. Yeah, right. Currently he's only really played mid, where he finds middling success. Ideally he wants to find success in both roles. That's going to be so hard to do. Unless you're Tristana. As one final note, we've converted most of his magic damage to physical and all but removed his AP builds. Thank God. His recommended items have been manually updated to include both AD Haste and AD Crit builds. That's my favorite Corki personally. I was actually a big Corki fan back in the day, but once they really pushed him towards mid, I really got sad. But I'm happy he's coming back, hopefully in a good way and not like Static Shiv did. But items like Sorcerer Shoes and Malignance will no longer be worth buying. Please don't. So, what are they doing? Base health is up, health growth is down, base armor is up slightly, base armor growth is down, base attack is way down, attack speed is a little bit up, mana regen is slightly up. Acquisition range, this is the range at which Corki acquires targets when attack moving past them. That's pretty specific. And then retime Corki's basics to launch an attack at more appropriate frame of his attack animation. Corki's animations did feel really old, so I'm curious to see how this is going to be, but it sounds good. Basic attacks come out slightly more slowly. Oh god, that sounds terrible. Okay, so his passive is now 100% damage and then 15% true damage. So he's literally doing 115% damage, and it's not even that damage is going to be mitigated. It's just true damage extra. Like, that's actually insane, and the package is removed. It might seem OP, but because the package was such a big part of his kit, I can see why they're having it be 15. This could be a big point of contention, though. Contention, though. There we go. Because if he goes back to his crit builds, this is going to fucking hurt. And if he's already shredding, and he has true damage on top of that shred, and he's building crit, oh mama. I think Corki might be back. I'm excited. So his Q is going to purely AD some AP, but more AD than anything. And the base damage is going slightly lower, but that's fine. The cooldown's going down by 1, but up by 1 early. That's fine. Mana's going down, but he's probably going to build Essence Reaver again, so that's fine. Missile speed is slightly faster. Cool. And then they retimed it. Nice. So Q is a lot better, in my opinion. W is going up in cost, now consistently deals damage in all ticks. This is usually 10% more damage if your target was in the zone. Nice. And it now lingers for 1 second after leaving, so you're going to get burned. You can no longer deal more maximum damage to the target runs alongside Valkyrie's damage zone. Wow, it's a bug fix. Particle effects have been scaled up to match the radius, and they've been less spammy. Nice. So W is slightly better. Gatling gun. Okay, so it's 100% physical. The damage is now going slightly down overall. The cooldown's going lower, though. The MR shred and armor shred is going up. And time to reach max shred is now 1 second, which is insanely good. Wow. And the man's going slightly higher. So his E is better. Overall, all of his main abilities are slightly better. His passive is pretty good. And then his R. Let's see this shit. So, AP ratio removed. His AD ratio is now a lot better earlier. A little worse late, but it's fine. Man's going slightly up. Max ammo is a lot lesser, which is kind of sad. Recharge rate is a lot higher. Holy shit. And then now basic attacks on hit against champions reduce the recharge time by 2 to 4 seconds based on crit chance. And leveling the ability for the first time grants 2 ammo. Interesting. So they're really front-loading more of his kit and, like, not making it too much into the missiles. The missiles are still alright, and he probably still has the big one, hopefully. But, this is going to be interesting. So they really want a more active style of Corki play, which I think is fair because Corki, realistically speaking, especially with the old playstyle, was really kind of toxic and cancerous. You would just, again, spam missiles at max range, and you already had an escape. Corki was a very safe, very annoying champion that scaled pretty decently well. So honestly, I don't know if this is necessarily better because the old Corki was kind of cancerous, which means he was OP. But this new Corki might be better, and again, he has a lot more AD scaling. I might be able to hopefully finally play him bot again. I miss Corki. I love Corki. I'm excited. They need to give him a fucking ASU. VGU, they don't really need because his gameplay might hold up still, but ASU for sure. Kogeeth. Let's see what they're doing with Tankman. Now, I will say this first here, right? I forgot to say it before Corki, but I've pretty much been playing ARAM and Arena, and I really like Arena. ARAM is always fun. I'm more casual now. Not to say I'm not going to play the new ranked split. I need to get all my rewards and stuff. But after that's done, I'm pretty much a casual Andy. I've gotten my marks. I've gotten my licks. I'm still Emerald, at least before the split. So it's not like I'm still bad at the game. You know, I'm still pretty good, and I could get better. But I've decided to become a somewhat for fun teacher, sensei, if you will, to teach everyone here my skills and my prowess, because I have beat masters level people before, because they suck and I don't. Either way, Cho'Gath, I don't really know how he's doing in Rift, so I'm not going to talk on the Rift, because again, I've barely played it, but let's see what they're doing. I'm wondering how the balance is going to go now, since Arena might become a permanent game mode, and we'll hopefully talk about Arena soon, but we'll see. So, Kogeeth. Cho'Gath isn't doing too great while we're looking for ways to open up his jungle diversity. That's disgusting. The E monster damage cap was quite low and scaled with E rank. Now, oh, nah. Cho'Gath jungle, they call Chungle. Players have a bit more flexibility. Okay, what are they doing? So his E damage against monsters is going way up, and his cap against minions is removed. That's a pretty decent buff. Nice. Cool. Cho'Gath's slightly better. Cassant. Oh god, this champion is such a fucking mess. Now granted, it doesn't look like they're doing too much here, but let's see. Oh, Cassant, as a fairly new and difficult to play champion, yeah, right. We don't expect them to have exceptionally strong performances, except he keeps having them. On all but the most practiced players, read pros. That's true. That sounds like a Fate thing. That's hilarious. That's how they do it in FGL. That said, he took a hit last patch, and we updated his hitbox and selection radius. As a result, he's performing worse in solo queue than we'd like. I don't understand why they put so much emphasis into certain champions. Like, they have perfectly, like, alright consciences letting champions just rot in hell and, like, elo hell and not updating them forever. And then other champions, they want to just keep tuning them, and I don't know why. Granted, Casante's new, he might sell skins, and he was, like, there for collabs and stuff, right? But it really does feel sometimes like there's some sort of favoritism going on with how much they update these champs and they want them to work, but other champs that are like big issues in terms of either being too good or not played enough. You know, the first example being Maokai, the last example being I don't even know what anymore, but there's examples out there where it's like these champions are not in good spots, either too good or too bad, and they just don't get touched, but Cassante will keep getting like the best doctors in the world at Riot's like balance team, and it doesn't make any sense. But either way, as a result, he's performing worse in solo queue. We're shipping him some buffs. Oh, wow, so they're actually buffing him. Look at that. So his health regen growth is slightly up. His health growth is up. And his E, footwork, not fleet, is... I wonder if that rune is staying, by the way. His E base shield is going slightly higher. Cool. Kassanta's a mess. Setoda. What do we think of Set? I think Set is pretty good. Obviously, I remember the days where he can literally go any role. I don't think he's that good anymore. I don't know if that's because of items. I don't know if that's because of him. But I think Set is in a really weird spot. I've played Set a couple times, and the main thing I think about Set is he's really not tanky, and you're supposed to build him health. I build mathematically correct Set. And it really just feels like you're like a walking kamikaze. Like you'll go in, you'll take a shit ton of damage, which is what you're supposed to do. You'll try and nuke people with 1W, maybe 2 if you're lucky, and that's basically it. You're like a used bar of toothpaste. So I kind of don't like how Set is kind of just like, again, a kamikaze bomber essentially, but maybe they'll change that. E deals bonus damage to monsters. Set jungle players are few and far between, and rightly so. And the ones that do exist max W first. Wow. Players should notice a big difference in their first clear. Let's see this. 9 to 100 flat damage mod to monsters. That's insane. Wow, that's going to be a lot of damage. His first clear is going to be a lot better now. That's crazy. It's that jungle, everyone. Pretty good. Oh, dear God, what are they doing to this guy? Okay. So, like I said, Skarner is in a weird spot. I actually don't know if I like new Skarner. I think visually he's cool. I don't know if gameplay-wise he's better, because I feel like he feels like shit. Now, granted, I've played him once, right? At least in regular Rift. I've played him elsewhere in Arena, basically, and he was really good in there. But I don't know what it is, but Skarner feels more like a tank than he did before. Before, he actually felt like he could do damage. Now it feels like he really doesn't, even though he might do more. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. We gotta see. But God is his ult more god-awful than ever. Like, it really does have the potential to be better, but in actuality, in reality, it's so much worse. Like, Jesus Christ. So let's see. Q damage, mana cost, and max HP monster cap reduced, so they're nerfing him. Q damage to structures increased, wow. E damage reduced, wow. R cast time decreased, thank God. Unstoppable status removed, which is stupid, but can now Q another ability while winding up. Oh, big whoop. So we're making some small updates to Skarner now he's been out in the wild for a bit. We're changing up part of his ultimate cast paradigm. Letting displacement effects affect Skarner while winding up in Pale, which is stupid. Which will do a couple of things. The most fun one is to let him cast it reactively to an incoming Blitzcrank hook. Oh! I mean, I feel like that's just so bad, though. Like, that is, like, a once-in-a-lifetime thing that will happen. Maybe in low elo more, but ultimately, this is going to be more bad than good. Because let's just say you're charging it up. You could get Vayneed, you could get, like, all these other CCs that are meant to fuck you. Like, the Blitzcrank hook is going to be, like, an accidental thing. Because you shouldn't even be grabbing Skarner to begin with. Let's be real. So it's like, what the hell is this, like, stupid thing they're trying to mask this as? This is dumb. Delivering even more suppressions per cast, you're right. This also leaves some room for opponents to counterplay. Yeah, a lot of room. As astute players can preemptively throw out spells like Explosive Cast can push his Skarner away before he can snag his prey. Because this change will make him less consistent, way less consistent, we're hastening the cast time. Hopefully it's enough. Giving him a better shot at landing it without setup CC. Yeah, we'll see about that. We're also adding a little bit of QOL, allowing him to properly Q his spells before R. He still can't cast Q or E while impaling someone, but in case it misses, he'll go right into next cast, which is dumb. I really don't think that matters. He's also due for some meaningful nerfs, as he's arguably the strongest high MMR jungler in the game, which I don't understand how. Now, I'm not saying I don't understand because, like, I can't see it. I'm saying I don't understand because I literally don't know. Like, I haven't seen Skarner in the jungle. I've played him once when he released, and I was like, this kind of feels like shit. So I really don't have the authority to speak on this. But either way, we're happy with this level of CC and durability, so we're going after his ability to kill squishy champs quickly, aka ADCs. We also know that there's a large community of Skarner top players who will be negatively affected by these nerfs, so they're trying to do some compensation, but those players are going to probably end up eating shit. So the damage of his Q is going down by 1% bonus HP. That's nothing. The mana cost is down. That's good. The structure damage is doubled. That's great. The percent max HP monster cap is down by 100. That sucks. The E, Ixtal's impact, is going down by 2%. Big whoop-de-doo. And then the Impale cast time is going down by 0.1. I don't think that's enough, personally. He's no longer unstoppable while winding up. Now, granted, the cast time is not that long anyway, but still. Skarner can now Q his other abilities while winding up. Nice, and then fix the bug where Mark Dash would be recast during Impale. Okay, cool. I think Skarner's just overall a little worse. Now, whether he needs to be or not, I personally don't even know. I haven't seen him be an issue, but I haven't seen anything on Rift. So, again, we'll see. But Skarner's definitely worse. I feel like he feels like shit. I don't know if I like the rework. Tryndamere, very simple guy. He honestly might be getting touched because of all the ADC and rune changes, which are going to affect marksman. And he basically uses marksman items anyway. So we definitely got to see. Now that we're going back to 25% crit strike chance on legendaries, we're adjusting champions like Trynd that directly depend on certain thresholds. For Tryndamere, our goal is to have him hit 100% crit rate at 2 items and full fury. Nice. So now his fury is going up. Cool. Nice. His maximum. Cool. Viego. Q healing from minions increased. Lane Viego was nerfed a few years ago, thank God. Since then, we've nerfed him in other pro-focused ways as well, so they want him back in lane because they don't want the game to be stagnant. So the mark healing versus minions are going from 10 to 50, which is a huge buff. Like 10% to 50 is literally 5 times the amount, I believe, if my math is right. So that's cool. Viego might go lane again, which is interesting. I think in certain melee matchups, he probably will do really good, but I can't see him as anything but a jungler. So Yasuo, the same thing. I imagine Yon's also going to get changed because, again, the crit items are getting changed. So Yasuo, their goal is to have it be the same as Tryndamere. At 2 items, he gets 100% crit. So what are they doing? His crit chance multiplier is going down, actually. But his bonus AD for excess crit is going up. Wow. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. I'm going to see how this lands, because theoretically before, he might have gotten more AD, because now he's getting less crit, but if the AD is going up, I don't think it's the same rate, though. I think you're losing more crit chance than you were before. So the 10% isn't going to equate well, but that's just like the girl math in my head talking. So Yasuo might be slightly better, slightly worse, but we'll see. Yone, I think he's slightly worse, personally. And Yone, same shit. Literally same shit as Yasuo. We don't know what we got to see. Items, Corrupting Potion. They removed this. This is kind of sad, but it doesn't really matter because I feel like no one really used this. Corrupting Potion has been somewhat forgotten. Of course it has. It really sucks dick, so that's fine. So, there's new Enchanter items, I think. Oh, wait, no, this is old. Never mind. So these are support items, which is a dying role because no one really plays this anymore. They just play mages or barely any enchanters. So, what are they doing to Dawncore? Dawncore was initially conceived as an enchanter capstone that could finish their builds. Of course, that's a really lofty for a class that doesn't earn a lot of gold. We want Dawncore to be, I mean, the name itself is really cool. We want Dawncore to be a big ticket item about whatever, reshaping a little bit, giving it much more of an upfront power while still having a bit of scaling. Okay. We're massively juicing up the AP and heal shield power in order to make it the best item for I want really, really strong enchanter spells. It's more expensive than other options and everything else. So let's see what they're doing. So the build path is changing, but still total gold is the same. The heal and shield power's up. The ability power's up. The mana regen's kind of down, but that's fine. And then you're going to get a little bit more AP, but less heal and shield power per mana regen. Interesting. You're losing the haste and you're losing the summoner spell haste. So it's really just more front loading you with just bare like damage stats. So shielding and AP, this is your item. There you go. That's interesting. I don't really care. These are support items. These suck. Echoes of Helia. This item is weird. But let's see. Echoes of Helia hasn't found its footing in post-mythic world, so we're making it more friendly, more user-friendly, more powerful. It can be tough for supports to land multiple hits on an enemy, yeah, unless they're a mage. We're lowering the required hits between shields and heal for full effect, excuse me, and juicing up the per cast impact, which is interesting. For those of you who are reliably getting 3 hits in between shields, this won't be a huge buff, but for anyone who has a hard time always casting at full stacks, these changes will be significant improvements. So, the max stacks are going down, the damage per stack is going up. So they're front loading it more. They're essentially just front loading it more. They're having each individual stack be more impactful, which is cool. It's basically becoming more casual. Nice. Shirelias. What do I think of Shirelias? I don't really know because I don't play Rift, so let's see what they're doing. Shirelias is a pretty simple, though. Pretty simple item. It's basically Silverall. Shirelias Battle Song is on the strong side because it's move speed. It's usually appropriate on enchanters where there are a wealth of other options, but it's too prevalent on solo laners. That's interesting. That's kind of stupid. We're taking down its more selfish aspects to try and keep it as a niche purchase. Huh. So the move speed is going slightly down. The AP is going slightly down. Cool. Tank items. Oh, good lord. I can't wait till I get to the AD stuff. We're taking a small pass over tank items, both the high income and low income varieties. Our first goal is to slowly raise the amount of ability haste in the tank item system. We don't think they should have as much as fighters do, but they should be able to easily get small to moderate amounts. To achieve that goal, we've placed ability haste onto most of their generic items. Their second goal is to make pure health items appealing. And I will say this is a big issue. I feel like aside from Sterix, why the fuck would you get any other item? And Sterix even then is kind of like a little bit of a difficult buy to justify to me. I feel like just pure health is not enough because you're going to get shredded either way. Like pure health is just going to delay it, but not by much. Now granted, it depends how much armor you have. This is a very niche topic. But I do feel like overall, just health is overall weaker than armor and MR with how the math works. As long as you're not like a giga tank, like Ornn. Like if you're Ornn, I think health probably helps more, honestly. Because again, the math works out to where the more health and armor, the more armor and MR you have, the less it really matters. So either way, let's see what they're doing. Anathema's changed. I feel like this item was never built by almost anyone. This item was weird. Like, if anything, you'd build it on support, because on top laner, it's like you're losing out on too much other stats that you'd want. Armor, MR, damage. I mean, it gives health and it gives reduced damage from one person, but that one person, all they have to do is ignore you. This item was, I think, a complete failure. I don't understand who would buy this unless you're a tank support, and those are basically extinct. So, let's talk about pure health items, which have generally been quite ignored. Yes, sometimes they just don't provide enough stats, no duh. They just don't need, there's just no need for more health because other items already provide a ton. Yeah, and exactly. We're hoping to fix up both these areas by retuning pure health items. Nice. We thought long and hard about anathemas and came to the conclusion that a version of anathemas that was strong and prevalent would be quite bad for the game. Snowballing should feel good and players should be rewarded. Well, yeah, they should and they can be. But this is to counter that one person for you, but at that point, again, they could just ignore you. If you have this item, it's not like you're going to be a big lethal threat to the person, and at that point, they just literally ignore you. While strong defenses, armor, health, Zanya's Argos are good, an item that specifically disempowers a target player and makes them weaker wasn't something we want to keep around. And I feel like it's not something many people use, but I could be wrong. But either way, I don't like this item. This item sucks. I'm glad it's out. Warmogs. Thank God they're not taking this out. I actually really like this item. Warmogs is receiving a hefty simple buff at 3,100 gold. It's the second most expensive tank item in the game, and it's really niche too. I really feel like not many people would get this. It is decent for late on some people, but again, you're really playing like a bitch. You're not playing to win. You're playing to survive with this item. We decided to give it an eye-popping amount of health. Oh, let's see that. To stand out as a premier tank item, we haven't changed the Warmog's heart threshold, so it should be easy to activate in your second slot, so you can't rush it. So the health is going up by 250, which is huge. Health per second is going down by 100, which is kind of sad. But Warmogs, I feel like, is still going to be like a similar item where you're just getting it to survive, so it's whatever. Fimbulwinter. I actually don't know if I like this item. This item was more, I think, geared towards armor, if I believe correctly, but I honestly don't remember. Oh, no, it was health and mana, wasn't it? I honestly don't remember. I don't like how it upgraded. I really didn't like Fimbulwinter. I feel like this item, was really weird. I don't like the idea of it sapping my mana, but either way. We're giving Winter's Approach and Fimbulwinter some strict buffs. Nice. By doubling the value of mana conversion for items like Frozen Heart and Rod of Ages, we hope there will be a subset of tanks and AP brewers that are excited to try out high mana builds. Well, Rise might be creaming himself right now. On average, the odd change will be relatively neutral, but the 150 extra health is pure upside. So again, it's getting 150 extra health, and then the bonus mana's bonus HP is just a straight buff. Cool. So Winter's Approach, not much is changing here except the bonus health. Nice. So this is going to be slightly better. I really don't like the way just the item functions as its core, though. But either way. Bomby Cinder. This is a component, not even a completed item. We want to give tanks a small amount of extra ability haste while we're doing that through the Immolate system. We're compensating health here in order to give space for other health items and making Bomby Cinder a bit cheaper. Wow, I actually really like this. I love the burn builds, like the burn items, like you know, AP based or sorry, MR based Bombies is pretty good, or sorry, Sunfires, which is right actually below us. Hollow Radiance is pretty good. Sunfires is pretty good. And that combined with Unending Despair, you really just become like a sucking machine or like a burning machine of like AoE health, which I think is cool. I just wish they leaned further into it, but they can't have tanks going too crazy because then ADs might get back in meta. We want to give tank. Okay, so I already read that. Let's see what they're doing. So the build path price is going down, health is going down, haste is going up by 5. I think for the amount, like the price going down, the health going down, it's fine, and the ability haste is cool. I mean, I feel like it's not gonna matter too much. This is like literally almost nothing. It's whatever. Hollow Radiance, it's getting 10 AP but losing 150 health. I don't know if that's worth it, but I guess we'll see. Sunfire's Aegis, same shit. Randuin's Omen. So, Randuin's Omen is interesting. I think this item is very good on paper, but sadly, in reality, it's almost never used because you really don't need it in most cases because the ADC is the ADC. Now, this is a really nice item, but at the end of the day, it really is a I counter ADCs item, and the other one that counters ADCs that not even just ADCs, almost anyone, is Frozen Heart. Randuin's is too niche, I think. It's niche, it will do its job, but it's like there's more than just the AD, and the AD is sometimes very easily dealt with. So, I don't know how I feel about Randuin's. We're lightly redesigning Randuin's for a few purposes. First, we don't want players to waste gold when building it alongside Frozen Heart, as the two most obvious anti-attack items, aka anti-ADC items. It felt bad to lose out when building them together, so now you can combine them without fear. The change was also convenient for simplifying the item, as 3 unique effects is generally too many for an individual item in a post-mythic world. Wow, so it was essentially too strong, which I do kind of agree with. It had a lot of stuff going for it. Second, we continue reshaping resist item the way, okay. Third, we want to high impact button. Okay. In general, Randuin should be clearly appealing when facing 2 crit users on the enemy team, which realistically speaking, when is that happening? And as a viable option when facing just one. Ha! Let's see. As long as the humility active is meaningful. So let's see. The health is getting nerfed. The armor is going up, which is pretty good. Humility cooldown is going way higher up. Humility slow is going from 55 to 70. And then rock solid is removed, which just made you take less damage across the board, I believe. Overall, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's still pretty niche. I mean, the armor going up is nice, but if they only have 1 crit user, I feel like you could get other stuff instead that just provides you more of a benefit than Randuin's. But that's just me. I don't think this is enough, but we gotta see. Unending Despair, I actually really like this item. I feel like they blew up the icon way too big. This looks like kind of low pixel, but let's see what they're doing. With Ingenious Hunter going the way of the dinosaur, okay, well that one's out. We saw the Unending Despair was the only strong one built alongside that rune. That's sad. So we're buffing it with substantially lower cooldown. Oh, thank God. I don't know if substantially lower is 2 seconds, but I really like the idea of Unending Despair. I just wish they played more into it, where I want tanks to be people that do CC, but they last. The main issue I feel like with tanks is they last slightly longer, but at the end of the day, they still kind of die a little too quickly. I think tanks, and not just Ornn and Scion, but tanks in general should live longer if they build right, and then there's obvious counters to them, right? Like you would need to build anti-heal. Not just for healers, but also for tanks, somewhat if they go this item. But either way, I think this is good. I like that this is getting buffed. Abyssal Mask. Oh god, this is an item I think almost no one fucking built. But let's see. Even though it was kind of good. It's the same area as I think Randuin's. I think it's a little bit too niche, but let's talk about support tanks, which don't exist. In general, we think their items are in a pretty good place overall, but wanted to move a few things around. Up first is Abyssal Mask. We expect support tanks and magic damage bruisers to be pretty excited. Oh, whoopee! As it provides a lot of teamfight durability and helps themselves and their team deal with MR stacking front lines. Though an abundance of caution over this item is creating stale AP versus AP lanes, we're trying to ensure it's weak rush item for most ranged champions. Okay, so they're saying a lot of bullshit. Should be very strong in 2 times magic damage teams, as percent will do a lot against MR stackers. So it's basically, from what I'm hearing, almost like the AP version of Lord Dom's. Kind of. Even supports like Braum can buy this in their second slot, and they'll feel like they got another viable option for empowering their team. Okay. It's becoming unique with Void Staff and Crypt Bloom, similar to how Black Cleaver cannot be stacked with Last Whisper. Nice. So, the price is going slightly down, the MR is going slightly down. The MR, based on bonus HP, is just getting equalized to 20, which is a little bit better, a little bit worse, depending on the area. The Unmake Radius... Oh, wait, no, that's how much they reduce from the enemy, I guess. Okay, so just 20%. So before it was flat, I think. Now I just think it's straight percentage, hopefully. If it's straight percentage, that's actually really fucking good. Oh, wait, never mind. Or actually, you gain resistance, I think, if you're around people, too. So it's 9 to 10 per enemy. That's not bad. And then you can't build this with Void Staff and Crypt Bloom, which makes sense. I think this is good. I think Void Staff is obviously for damage dealers. This is for supports. Crypt Bloom is for God knows who, because I feel like the item is the worst ever. Knight's Vow. I love Knight's Vow. I think this item is so good. It's a shame tank supports aren't really too prevalent, but I really like this item. I just wish it was more visible what it did. But I still think it's good. Knight's Vow is receiving a small simplification that should be mathematically very close to the old version and makes it easier for everyone to understand. We're letting the Knight's armor and magic resist apply to the redirected damage because we think it's thematically appropriate. We're also re-adding the health regeneration just in case your worthy ally can't hit for a while. Wow. So the tanks wielding this item can still not eat shit. So the build path is changing slightly. You're getting a reju bead now, so that's a little better early, which is nice. Total gold cost unchanged. You're getting more health regen, which is nice. The armor's going down by 5, which is fine. The damage redirection is now 12% always, which is way simpler. And the damage is now reduced by the armor and MR. That's really cool. I think this item is pretty good. I like this. Zeeks. So Zeeks is, I think, more of an active style of support item. I actually like the old Zeeks as well, more than the new Zeeks. I think the old Zeeks was a lot cooler. It was a lot more intuitive. Or not intuitive. It was a lot more just active in like the playstyle, and you had an obvious benefit to it. It was very obvious what was happening. New Zeeks, I don't know how it truly is, but I really like the way the old one was. Like from what I remember, your support had to like CC them or ult or something, and they activated their thing, which was like an AoE around them. And then if you autoed whoever was getting AoE, you did like extra damage or some shit. It was some convoluted ass shit, but it was really good. I really liked it. It was active gameplay. So we're giving Zeeks the same buff as Locket. It's pretty hard for tank supports to build multiple items on their lower gold income, and they don't have the luxury of counter building as a lane opponent. As such, we're making sure there are a couple of hybrid resist support tank items. Nice. So what are they doing? The build path is changing to be more equal to both MR and armor, which is nice. Total cost is unchanged, which is nice. Health is going up, which is great. Armor is going down by 5, which is a little sad because it doesn't give too much anyway. But now it's getting MR, so that's actually okay. Never mind, I changed my mind. The ability haste is going down, which is whatever, and then the mana is getting removed, which is fine. And it still has its passives, I'm assuming, so we're all good. Mage items. Oh, golly gee willikers. The class, that ate the most after the preseason update. Let's see what they're doing. So Banshee's Veil is interesting. I think it's a very good counter pick niche item. But at the end of the day, people are just going to go damage, I think. I think Banshee's Veil active is nice, but it just gets popped by so many things. I really just find it kind of useless in a sense. The biggest thing I like about Banshees, I mean, again, the spell shield is great, but the MR is the biggest thing I like. So, we are generally happy with Banshee's Veil, so its Verdant Barrier component is updated without further adjustments. So what are they doing? The build path is just getting changed. It's costing more gold. But the total gold cost is unchanged. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. It's just costing more because Verdant Barrier is getting changed. Nice. Cool. Oh, we have a new mage item. Yo, they better fucking have a lot of ADC stuff. Because the fact that mages are getting new mage item, I feel like ADCs are going to get cucked. But let's see. Black Fire Torch. I already like the name. I already like the icon. I really hope Vagar can use this. We have identified a problem that mage item system is lacking a strong mana item option for sustained damage dealers. Rod and no, not Muramana. Or is it Muramana? Yeah, Rod and Archangel Staff. I don't understand what they're talking about here. The introduction of Blackfire Torch and adjustments on Luden's Companion are both aiming to resolve the problem by offering a variety of mana item choices. I feel like mages didn't have mana problems. What? Blackfire Torch is designed to appeal to battle mages and control mages that want to do sustained damage, while Luden's Companion can focus more on burst and AoE damage deals, which I feel like it's not even that good at that either. But in terms of roles, we're positioned designed to be good for both mage, junglers, and laners, as long as it fits their needs, which is quite interesting. So what are they doing? Lost Chapter, which we all know and love. That one is the one that gives you AP, or sorry, mana per level. Faded Ashes, which sounds new, and then 700 gold. So its total is 2,800, not bad. Ability power is 90, okay. Mana 600, haste is 25. Let's see the passive. This is where we get important. So, dealing damage with abilities causes enemies to burn for 20 plus 2% AP magic damage per second for 3 seconds. Deals 20 bonus damage per second to monsters. Wait a minute. So we're getting another burn item? So if you want to go full burn now, you just got like Giga Buff. Teemo, Malzahar. I don't really know who else. But holy shit. Wait, what? Blackfire. For each enemy champion, epic monster, or legend monster affected by your baleful blaze gain 4% AP? Oh, I like this. I don't really know if this is going to be that good because, again, I'm not a mid laner, even though I can play mid. But, oh, I really like this, yo. So this has to be good on Veigar. This literally has to be good on Veigar. And the fact that you're going to get 4% AP, this is for each champion, right? So if you W 5 people, 4 times 5 is 20. So you're getting a 20% AP buff on Veigar, which is then going to funnel back into your Baleful Blaze. And when you have 1,000 AP, you're literally getting 250 for free at that point. Or not 250, sorry. 200 for free at that point. Holy fucking shit. I like this, yo. Holy shit. This on top of, oh, Brand. I forgot Brand. He's probably going to be the biggest winner from this, honestly. Brand and Veigar. Oh, mama. I'm excited for this, man. Holy shit, this time seems good. I like this. I like that a lot. So Faded Ashes. This is a new component, so let's see what it does. With the new component, we want to fill 2 spaces. AP junglers have access to Bombies-like item. That's pretty good. And give new epics for APs that can feel good to personify a meaningful different build path. Nice. Ideally, this item is being added to the game to bolster second and onward clears for AP junglers. Nice. For example, Singe is currently 48% win rate in the jungle, thank God. And this item plus some feels improvements like making his passive work on large monsters would be enough to get him into both viability and put some attention on a champion like Singed in the jungle. That sounds nightmarish, if I'm being honest. So the build path is Amp Tone plus 500 gold. Nice. The AP is 40, which is pretty good. And then you have the burn. Nice. Pretty good. I like this. I like this a lot. Luden's Companion. The problem with... I feel like this is going to be the Mage update and not the ADC update. I'm so scared, man. The problem with previous Luden's Companion is that it was too general to be good for the majority of the user base. I feel like Luden's Companion passive, little like burst that it did, was not really that good. It was better than old Luden's in a way, sure, but I feel like old Luden's kind of sucked too, personally. I feel like the little passive like blow-up thing it had was kind of just ignorable, personally. Like, over time, it might have done a lot, but like in the moment, it really feels negligible, and people could just ignore, like, oh, it's a little bit of extra damage, whoopee, right? I mean, I guess it's a battle of 1,000 cuts, because that with Comet and Scorch, like, you know, they'll take a lot of extra damage from multiple sources, but still. We had to balance it for the best users, which caused it to have a relatively low overall win rate. With Blackfire Torch serving DPS indexed mages, we want to clearly push Lins into a burst space, so it's still going to be good on Veigar, hopefully. Making the effect only fire at max shots should increase the burst and overall satisfaction. So it's similar to Luden's again. They're going right back to Luden's Echo. Because firing with low charges won't seem very noticeable, which I agree, it wasn't. This change should introduce mage itemizations and allow us to balance with more clear directions. Let's see. No longer a charge model. Unique load is removed. Now has a 12-second cooldown and always fires with 6 shots. Nice. The base damage is going up, which is nice, even though it's only 15. Repeat damage ratio on primary targets is now 50, so that is pretty good. All around this time is getting buffed for a lot more burst, which I like. That's not bad. Liandry's, what are they going to do with this? As a mana item option, new epic item Faded Ashes is swapped in as a component. So you actually get the bleed a little bit earlier. Nice, but this is going to be better for tanks, I think. Yeah, this is better for tanks. I think the other one is better for just, like, hard AP like you want to kill non-tanks. But we got to see. But I'm glad. I'm very glad Liandry's is getting this as a component. It's very good. Verdant Barrier. This is one of the support bitch or not armor, MR items. We're comfortable with the power of Verdant Barrier, but want to become more accessible, so they are lowering the gold. Nice. Fighter items. Whoop-de-liddly-do. So this is an item that is very familiar to people who play Arena. This is already in Arena, so let's see what they're doing. Are they bringing it in 1-to-1? So Overlord's Blood Mail is intended to fill the third-ish item slot for health-heavy fighter builds. We believe converting health into damage is a compelling fantasy for fighters and want to create it with this item. I think this will be a pretty good item for set. I think this is obviously the #1 item for set that set should and will build. Aside from that, God knows who. Maybe Scion. Maybe. Who knows if you want to do some damage on Scion. I'm curious to see what the boss does with this, but build path is relatively standard. 2 tunnelers and gold. Total gold 3,300, which is pretty fucking expensive. AD is 40, health is 500, which is, to me, a little bit on the low side. I wish it gave 600, but I guess the AD fixes it. Tyranny, gain 2% of your bonus health as AD, so that's going to be great for Scion and Set. Gain up to 10% increased attack damage based on your percent missing health. Nice. So if you're 30% below, you get 10% extra, which isn't a lot, but it's whatever. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I like this item. This is a good addition. So Blade, ironically enough, some ADCs build this, but I guess it is technically a fighter item, even though I feel like more marksmen build it than anything, but let's see. We're updating Blade's damage profile to be centered more about the stats that it provides rather than the on-hit damage. We're also taking this opportunity to move the effects of clawing shots back to be triggered after 3 hits instead of on the first attack. So I wonder if they're trying to push this more to be a fighter item and non-ADC item, or just ranged marksman item. So the attack damage is going up, which is good. The attack speed is going up, which is good. The lifesteal is going up, which is great. The passive is getting giga nerfed. Well, not giga nerfed, but pretty seriously nerfed, which is sad. Very, very sad. So Mist Edge is basically how much percent current health it's doing. So I guess this is kind of moving it into a little bit more of a fighter item. And then the passive, Clawing Shadows, your next basic attack on hit against the enemy empowers it and slows them. Now it's every third one, and it's just slow by 30. So ranged isn't really fucked there, because ranged used to be less. But now it's just 30 across the board, which is nice. And then the monster cap is going side up, so you can use it in the jungle. Whoopee. They really like a lot of jungle diversity now, which is interesting. But overall, this seems like it's a little bit worse for an AD tank busting item, but realistically speaking, this is only kind of a nerf for Kog'Maw, Varus, and Vayne, as far as I could think of. Jinx doesn't usually build this. She could, but she doesn't usually. And every other AD that is worth their metal, that auto attacks really fast and a lot, doesn't usually build Blade anyway. So I do feel like they are kind of pushing it a little bit more to be a sort of melee better item. Or maybe they just want tanks to last longer, which, like I said, I think tanks already kind of get shafted. They don't feel too much like tanks anyway. That's cool. Black Cleaver. Let's see what they're doing to this. I really like this item. I actually enjoy Black Cleaver a lot. I think it's very strong. We want Black Cleaver to be a core component of most fighter builds. One key tenet of fighter combat punch is target agnosticism, which is one factor that differentiates them from assassins. Yeah, because assassins are only supposed to kill one class, maybe 2. Or, I guess 3. Mages, supports, ADs, with a focus on ADCs. Not only do we like when they're good at hitting the front line, we also want them to do a little bit cooperative, which allows some of their combat power to come from their team fighting and not just the side lane 1v1s. So the armor reduction is going up, the max armor reduction is going from 25 to 30. That's really good. I like that. That's good. Okay, boots. So I can't believe they're changing boots. This is one of the core tenets of the game. Like, changing move speed and boots. I've already said this multiple times, and I will continue to say it multiple times. Move speed is one of the most sleeper OP stats in the game. It is. This is where I think changing boots is going to be, depending on how much they do it, because I don't know what they're doing. This could be a very, very big core underlying change that maybe not many people notice, or maybe they do depending on the level, but this could be big. I'm very, very curious to see this. So, plated steel caps have always stood out as a very powerful counter item. That's true, especially to auto attackers. In this update, we're going to make them more generically good against physical damage and less sharp against attacks. So what are they doing? So the armor's going up, the basic attack reduction is going down. Yeah, I mean, they're doing what they said they're doing. I don't know if it's good, but I think overall, plated steel caps should be more generalized for just armor. Excuse me. I think that's fine. It still has the basic attack reduction laid in. It's not as bad, so I think this is fine. I think this is good. More general, of course. Boats of mobility. I really like Moby boots. I think Moby boots are a great part of the game. You're basically choosing certain playstyles, right? And one of the best playstyles, and I think Moby boots is really good at this. It's either I don't think it's terrible in lane, but Moby boots, realistically speaking, is really good for roamers. I think people like Bard obviously love this item. Alistar loves this item. Now again, tank supports kind of are non-existent anymore. But I do think Moby Boots is a very, very unique item where I think the higher elo you go, the better it is. I really, really like Moby Boots. Like, it's so fucking good. It really, really is good. I think one of the worst boots in the game, honestly, is Boots of Swiftness. For real. So let's see what they're doing to Moby Boots. We've decided to get rid of Moby. Oh. Wow. Okay, damn. We've decided to get rid of Boots of Mobility the split. They've been mostly kept underpowered for a long time, and we didn't really enjoy the map movement they provided very early in the game. Well, that's one of the main tenets. Now, granted, this could be necessarily a good thing, right? This could actually be a good thing for ADC players like me. Because, sadly, when you get this item as a support, it's better to just roam with it. You're getting this to roam and maybe make something happen in lane, but that's probably going to be through a gank when you return to the lane, not really in the lane in general, because it turns off if you get damaged. So it's really good for roaming, not that good in lane, although it could be good if you're just looking for like a very quick engage if you're going a tank support. But regardless, this is the roaming boot. Now, because they're removing this, maybe there's going to be less roaming. Maybe they just want roaming to be not as quick, even though roaming is probably still going to happen. But either way, this might push some supports to stay bot lane a little bit longer, which I hope. So they're actually adding a new boot in. I'm actually shocked. And this is Symbiotic Souls. This shit looks disgusting. It's obviously Void theme. I would not stick my foot in that. But either way, this is a new boot meant to slightly replace Moby boots as a tempo-oriented purchase. It's meant to help get back on the map faster and quickly get out of bad situations while requiring an appropriate amount of time before granting its roaming-focused move speed. Okay, interesting. So its total cost is 900. The move speed is 35. So it's similar in cost to Moby Boots, because Moby Boots is also pretty cheap because it really just gives you speed and that's it. But speed is very powerful. So move speed is 35. Your recall is empowered, which means you recall a lot quicker. And then after traveling 150,000 units, upgrades to Synchronized Soul. So, interesting. So it's a boot that upgrades. Wow. I'm a little interested in that. So the boot overall looks way better. This looks like a fucking like stupid sock. This looks like an actual boot. Looks pretty cool actually. It's a living boot too. It might lick your feet. So Synchronized Soul. So it's the upgrade one. It has 45 move speed. Your recall is empowered, and then if you're out of combat, you gain 45% move speed or 45 flat move speed. So honestly, I think what they did was they just re-themed Moby Boots, which is fine. I think Moby Boots was still stronger if I remember the numbers right. I actually don't remember fully. But either way, what they wanted to do was just have Moby Boots scale. So they don't want you to roam that early, aka I think they want you to stay with the AD, which is perfectly fine with me, and I love this, and this is great. Anyway, finally, to the coup de grace of the whole patch, and we're already an hour in, and I gotta go soon, so I gotta kind of hurry this up. We're on to the marksman items. Oh, golly gee, I'm so ready to take even longer for this, but let's see. So, marksman items. Obviously, I have a lot to say about marksman items. It sucks that I'm taking this long, so I might have to speed this up, but I'll try and be as thorough as I can. But overall, I think marksmen are in a somewhat better spot. As much as I like to complain about ADCs, they are getting better because they are doing buffs to one of, I think, the core builds of ADCs, which is crit. They've buffed crit a decent amount since historic levels. Like back in the day, we used to get, I think, 280% crit damage or some shit like that. Or maybe it was 250. And then they lowered it to 175. And then with IE, you would make it back to, I think, 225. And then they buffed it to 230. And then I think it might be back to 240 to 250. I don't remember too far in the numbers. And sadly, the stats in game don't really tell you too much. But overall, as bad as ADC is, it is getting better. But I definitely think it has some core problems. But the core problems are problems not fully with ADC, but it's more just the general culture of League in general, especially in the bot lane, especially in the game. ADC is not respected as much anymore, especially with what the other role depends on doing, which is, support. I think just support in general is kind of fucked, which also trickles down to ADC. But also ADC is just kind of like always the beating stick, where the nature of the game has evolved to where it's not as late game anymore. Back in the day, games used to last a lot longer because cooldowns were a lot longer in general. Now, since the games aren't lasting longer, ADCs need to come online earlier, but that provides an inherent problem because they're supposed to be your late game carries. If they get on too early, the game kind of is in their favor. And they try and balance it by making them one-shottable, but that is basically always going to be prevalent. And stuff like mages usually gets on a lot earlier than them, and assassins, and pretty much anything can kill them. ADCs suffer from, I think, a lot of issues where sometimes we feel very useless because we don't get on quick enough, and then we just don't do anything. And we're not set up to do anything because the people who are supposed to help us aren't playing for us, they're playing for them. But again, that's just a core cultural problem. I don't even know how you would solve that. But either way, BT, let's see what they're doing. Bloodthirster's once again leaving the crit system. What? And going back to its simpler roots of being a pure AD and lifesteal stick. I remember back in the day, you used to rush Bloodthirster first because it was so good. But this might cause an issue that they tried to avoid at a certain point, which is there was too much healing. There was bloated healing in the game. Too much stuff healed. And they had to roll back everything, but now it seems like they're sort of inching back towards it. I don't know if they'll hit it, but I'm a little scared by this. Because the whole reason you built PT back in the day was because it gave you so much AD and so much lifesteal that once you got your second crit item, aka IE, the build path used to literally be BT into IE. And it was like ridiculously strong because ADCs were like ridiculously strong back then. Now, I don't know if they're going to go back to that because, again, that introduced a whole slew of problems, but let's see. It's also regaining its passive ability to overheal. This will potentially open up as an option for other classes to purchase. So essentially, this is bad for marksmen. It's getting poached by other classes and not as good for ADCs potentially. So already we're not starting out well, which is kind of what I expected, but I'm sad it's the reality. So let's see. So the build path is no more crit. Total cost is unchanged. The AD is going way up, which is nice. It no longer grants extra AD, but now you can get an overshield. And then the crit chance is removed. So I don't understand why they're saying they're making it a pure AD and lifesteal statistic. I mean, I guess the lifesteal is technically going up because you're getting more AD from it, but I don't like this. Already ADs kind of feel like they're getting a little shafted. Collector. So what are they doing here? I think Collector's good, but I think it's niche on certain characters. I could see Varus building it in lethality, Kaisa maybe, not Jinx. Obviously, the best users are Jhin and Samira, obviously. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. Collector is a really good item to bridge some characters once for both lethality and crit chance. With these changes, it'll be allowed to compete with other BF sword recipes and has options to start with and keep scaling other purchases for some additional AD. Let's see. So the build path is changing. The cost is going up. The AD is going up slightly. The lethality is going down, and the crit chance is going up. So they're just readjusting it honestly for the crit chance. This is whatever. Essence Reaver. This one in particular is a pretty big change, but we're taking away the Spell Blade passive from Essence Reaver. What? Man, I was excited to build this on Corki. What the fuck? It's instead becoming a stat stick with a very clear purpose, spell casting. It should still provide a near unlimited supply of mana, as well as having a competitive stat line. Man, I'm sad it's not giving like the equivalent of Sheen. Now there's gonna be like no crit option for like ability users who want to empower their auto. That's very sad. So the build path is obviously getting rid of Sheen. The gold is going way up. It's no longer a Spellblade item, which is sad. Basic tax refund mana on hit, which is crazy. Crit strike chance is obviously up. So overall, the crit strike chance of every item is going up, which means you're going to be critting a lot more, a lot earlier. Which, again, I think that solves, or is trying to solve one of the core problems of ADC, which is they're not getting online fast enough. Which, if, you just give them more crit rate, they become more consistent in general. So that's good. The ability haste is going up, the AD is going up slightly. Overall, this is great if you need mana. I can see someone like Jinx possibly building this now, ironically enough. But I don't know. I feel like the items kind of outshadow it, and losing its Spellblade thing is a really big hit because this item was somewhat niche. I don't think many people that were casters, when I say casters, I mean like, spell slingers, they use this because it helped with mana, because they use so many abilities. Again, the only other person I could think of is Jinx. Aside from Jinx, I don't know why or how this can't be a nerf to the people who already would need the mana. If you need the mana, you're slinging out spells like crazy anyway. So you're going to want to take advantage of the Spellblade. I think taking away Spellblade honestly nerfs this item. I don't like this. This is worse in my opinion. Aside from like the better like stats, which is nice, but still. Immortal Shield Bow. I feel like this item sucks ass. I feel like most of the time you just build BT, but I guess since BT's gone, you have to build this now if you want lifesteal. So they've essentially not really solved the problem, but forced you into no other option, which I don't like. But either way, removing the life shield from Shield Bow, lifesteal from Shield Bow, will allow us to fit as the third, fourth item to round out crit builds. What? What? What is this? So, no more lifesteal in this. So, ADCs almost have no lifesteal option that gives them crit now, from what I could think of. BT's gone, and Immortal Shield Bow's gone, so they have no lifesteal option. What the fuck? So, the crit strike chance is going up, the AD is going up, the lifesteal is removed. This is horrible. This is honestly terrible. So, ADCs are getting just overall less sustain. Dude, what the fuck? What is happening? Like, sure, we're going to do more damage, but now we're going to be even more precarious in lane. We're going to have, like, very less sustain, which opens us up to more ganks, more just violation from other lanes. What the hell is this? What the... Like, what? I knew something was going to, like, just disappoint me. Oh, my God. Infinity Edge. We want to bring back a more powerful version of Infinity Edge, which is already kind of scary because it's already getting back to its former glory a little bit. That feels like it's worth rushing. With these stats, it'll hold its own while waiting for other scalers to come into play and should bring back crit builds to some of the users that had some in the past. So the gold is going up, the crit chance is going up, and the attack damage is going way up. Wow. We honestly might be going back to the era of ADCs are going to do like a lot more damage. Maybe not a lot again like they used to, but they're definitely doing more than now. They're trading sustain, they're trading like survivability for just straight damage. So they're leaning more into, I guess, glass cannon-esque, which I like, but I really wish we had at least one lifesteal option. Like, goddamn. This is good, though. I'm not gonna lie, like, all the extra crit chance, overall, I think, like, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, I still have to go through some items, but damn, man, I am very interested now. Let's keep going. Kerchisa's Shard, removed from the game. We're moving the Energized system fully into legendary items only. That is fine. Kraken Slayer. Oh, dear lord. So, see, I really like this item. I really like Kraken Slayer. I think this is one of, I don't want to say the best items, because this is a weird item. I think it's good for both just crit rate people and on-hit people in general, although that does lead it to being a little too general. I don't know if it's that good, but it's definitely more general, because again, both crit rate users, attack speed crit rate users, and on-hit users could use this. And I feel like that's a little weird, especially with Junso's not scaling with crit rate anymore. So this is definitely weird. But I really like this item. I really hope they don't ruin it. So what are they doing? Kraken Slayer is getting a significant change as well. It's no longer a crit item. So you know what they could be doing? You might need overall, because before you needed 5 items to reach 100% crit. So boot and 5 straight crit items. Now you only need 4, because they give 25% each. So now you could technically fit in IE, or not IE, sorry, BT and stuff like that. You just can't build it early if you want to like scale crit hard. So they're definitely changing the order of builds. Now that I'm thinking about it more, this is very interesting. Because I was like, okay, when can you build this? You definitely can't build it early like you used to. But they're definitely changing the way ADCs are going to kind of play the game, how they're going to scale and what they should and shouldn't build. And they're making more significant, like your choice will actually have more of an impact now. Before you didn't really care, now you definitely need to care on what you build. Do you want to sacrifice crit for like survivability and straight damage early? I mean, either way, you're going to get the crit back eventually, but it's like, how hard do you want to scale and at what points in the game? I think this is very interesting, actually. Holy shit. So anyway, Kraken Slayer is getting a significant change. It's no longer a crit item. Okay, so it could kind of be your fifth and final item, aside from boots. And instead of being focused entirely on the on-hit side of things, it will be a stronger contender as an early purchase. Won't be able to provide all of the desired stats right away. What? So its cost is going up, its build path is changing, its crits removed, it is getting move speed, more AD, more attack speed. Every third auto now deals physical damage on hit, increasing when hitting lower health targets. Honestly, I think depending on the amount, this is honestly way better because most of the time, to get to the max amount of damage by autoing the same person a couple times, it would kind of take a while. So if this is just going to be like if they're low, it's getting a lot more front-loaded damage if they're low, and you don't have to spend as much time. I think this is overall, in general, a better buff. The old one was better at like taking down consistent like target, like maybe a tank or something. But this new one I think is just better in more scenarios. I actually think this is pretty interesting. I like this. Now, granted, now the whole question is, as ADC, do you build crit earlier or later? I mean, realistically speaking, you're not really delaying crit too much because now, again, it is giving more, so your first time doesn't have to necessarily be crit. This is very interesting. Then the Ornn upgrade is obviously a little bit better. Cool. Lord Dom's regards. Oh, I swear to God, if they remove the crit off this, I'm going to be pissed. Let's see what they're doing. Dominix is losing its Giant Slayer passive. Oh, thank God. Okay, I mean, that's bad, but it's not crit at least. Whew. It's getting raw stats to compensate. While it won't be as efficient at killing very high health targets, which is fine. It shouldn't be, too good of a panacea. It shouldn't, like, beat everything. Because it really was, like, the high health, very tanky, just, like, solution. I think if they have very high health champions, you need Vayne, you need Kog'Maw. They need to have a way more defined level of counterplay. Or not counterplay, but, like, counteraction to those champions. The main solution to Sion and Ornn should not be Lord Doms. It should help, but it shouldn't be the only thing you need. You should have ADs that specialize in tank busting be more valuable, more important. And by sadly lessening the importance of this item, that's what you're going to do. So either way. It'll provide more against others. We still believe there should be enough ways to deal with those tanks and frontliners within the crit item system. And there is. But again, at the end of the day, they should last longer. And I think overall this is dealing with that problem. It's making the ADs specialized for that more important. It's making tanks last longer, which I think was an issue. And I think this is fine. I think this is overall better, honestly. Armor pen is going up, which is pretty good. Critical strike is going up, which is good. AD is going up, which is great. And if you have higher health, you don't do more damage, which is fine. I think that is fine. I think this is overall nice. Lord Doms is good. Mercurial. I don't like this item. I think this item is too niche. I think the fact that it only gives you MR is kind of sad because it's mostly used as a CC thing. I mean, the MR is great, but even if they're all AD, you might build this and then you're kind of wasting stats, and I don't like that. Scimitar is leaving the crit system to instead become a more accessible lifesteal item, which is interesting. So more people could potentially use this now, especially in top lane or mid lane, maybe. There should still be a somewhat narrow purchase that feels okay to add to a build without ever having to worry about going over the crit chance cap, which is fine. So the build is obviously changing. They're removing crit, it's going up in cost, and there's now lifesteal, which is pretty important. This is interesting. Mercurial is its own thing. It's whatever. Mortal Reminder. It's just gaining crit. That's fair. Navori Flicker Blade. I don't know why they changed the name of this, but let's see if it's the same shit. I don't like this item, though. I really don't like when you compare it to IE. I feel like IE does more just overall damage because you're autoing. It's happening a lot more often. And the critical chance or the critical damage multiplier is way better than whatever Navori gives you on abilities, which aren't as consistently thrown out as autos are. You can miss them sometimes, depending on what they are. And the damage increase is only 12%. Granted, they do more damage sometimes when you look at them in a vacuum than one auto. Sometimes, but not often, I feel like, depending on where you're at in the game. But overall, I think this is just worse than IE. And if you build this, you're playing some ADC that is kind of doing nonsense and not autoing. I mean, which is fine. You know, we need to have those ADCs. Xayah is kind of in that category. Lucian could be potentially... Maybe even, honestly, Corki, maybe, but we gotta see. Either way, Navori is getting a new name and icon. It'll still provide one of its iconic cooldown reduction mechanics, but it will now live as an attack speed item. Interesting. So the build path is changing. The gold cost is going way down, which is concerning. The crit chance is going up. The cooldown reduction refund is going up. The move speed is up. The attack speed is way up. The ability haste is down, which is fine. The attack damage is completely removed, which is kind of insane. Wait. This gives no damage. Holy shit, thank God. Fuck this item. I don't want to build this ever now. The fact that it doesn't give damage, I feel like they neutered this item. This item sucks. Holy shit. This doesn't make any sense. They're making it an attack speed item, but you want it to reduce cooldown. Like, what? If you're reducing cooldown abilities, you want your abilities to do damage. You don't really... Like, attack speed's nice, but I feel like it's just mismatched. I don't know. This item is weird. I don't like this. Fuck this item. Noon Quiver. I actually really like this item. Noon Quiver is staying around, but its purpose is changing entirely. So right now, its purpose is to kind of just help you with wave clear. Instead of being a perfect laning item to transition into first purchase, it serves as a way to deliver AD and crit. Okay, that's interesting. So it's giving the crit chance earlier, which is really good. But now it's taking away the 20 bonus physical damage on hit against minions and monsters, which is kind of sad. Honestly, this is better for brawling. I think they're just trying to make ADs get online and just fight and be more relevant a lot sooner. Because realistically speaking, this helped you only with farming with nothing else. Now this actually helps you in fights. I think ADCs in general are just getting more pushed to just get online earlier. I think this is actually scary but good. I don't know how this is gonna land. PD, Phantom Dancer. I actually really like this item. This item is a very good ramping item. Similar to Kraken. PD is getting a stat face-up focusing on attack speed and movement speed, which is what I thought Navori was for, but okay. It'll serve its purpose as a really strong way to multiple other sources of scaling. Interesting. So, it's changing its thing, its build path. It's going slightly down in gold. The move speed is going up. The crit chance is going up. The attack damage is getting removed, which is fine. It never really used to give attack damage in its history. But the attack speed is going up by double, which is insanity. If you want attack speed, if you want ghosting, this is the item to get. Not Navori, this. Fuck Navori. Nice, I like this. This is fine. Rapid Fire Cannon. So, Rapid Fire is weird. I think it's a great item. I honestly don't know what they're going to do to it. I really like the way it is now. Like, it's good for those who use it. It's good for those who have, like, massive, big, just one auto pokes who can, like, get a lot of range. Caitlyn, you can argue maybe Kog'Maw. Jhin, of course. Jinx, of course. Like, this is a pretty good item. I really like this. Tristana, obviously. Rapid Fire Cannon is the only energized item left in the marksman system, as it still serves a very useful function. It's losing its AD, and instead of being offered as relatively cheap AS... Okay, so what is it doing? So it is pretty cheap. It's getting crit. No more AD, but attack speed is going decently up. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. This is interesting. It's definitely interesting. I think it might be a little bit worse, but maybe the cheapness offsets it. Either way, Runan's Hurricane. I really like this item. This item is decently niche for some people. Obviously, Jinx, Twitch, Kog'Maw as well, on-hit people. Not Vayne. Varus, of course. I don't know what they could do. I'm curious. We're giving Renon's a new recipe while it's dropping the on-hit but gaining power on the bolts. So they're pushing more into it just doing a lot more AoE damage, because before it used to do a lot less. Like, the bolts were just there to do, like, Tickle Me Elmo damage but apply on hits. Then they actually buffed the bolts to do even more damage. Now I guess they're buffing it even more, which is interesting. Ensuring itself as a premier AoE option amongst crit and attack speed items. So what are they doing? They're changing the build. The cost is going down slightly. They're removing the on-hit magic damage, which is really sad. That hurts on-hit people. I guess this is really the crit ADC patch. This is crazy. Both AD damage scaling is going from 40 to 55, which is great, and the critical chance is going up. Okay, interesting. Not bad. Static Shift. I hate this fucking item. Fuck this item. This item was gutted, butchered. It was cannibalized. It was used by mages. It was not what it used to be. The old static could crit. If they just make this crit, it will be amazing. Anyway, Static Shift is trading its energized pattern for a brand new on-kill effect. What? It's also no longer a crit item. Okay, great. Just divorce it from what it used to be used by. Nice. Instead provides a good mix of attack damage and attack speed for champs trying to stabilize early on. It will still help with wave clear, plus potentially really shock opponents in a favorable team fight. Let's see this shit. So obviously they're removing the crit chance is removed, the attack speed's going up. Killing non-champions fires chain lightning that deals 90 magic damage, hitting up to 6 additional targets, and there's 3-second cooldown, 500 range bounce. Interesting. Takedowns on champions instead deal 3 times the damage, has no cooldown, no bounce cap, technically 186 if you want to know, and 650 bounce range. Damn. I'm actually interested to try this item now. I'm very interested to try this. Now, I'm sad the damage doesn't scale. This definitely could probably be a first build. So, potentially what you could do is you could go Kraken first, Static first, any non-crit item first, and then build into crit. Or you could just straight up start with crit and then just build this as a last item or a middle item. It really depends. But I'm really sad that the damage is so flat. So this is going to be great early. Like, if you're going to build this, it's going to have the most benefit to you early, because 90 magic damage early is great. Later on, it's terrible. But it's more of an early mid-game item, honestly. You might sell this later on. But I could see you buying it first to actually have this matter. This is actually crazy. I might actually buy this. I think this is a lot better. If they remove the 3-second cooldown to maybe like 2 or 1 second, I think this would be almost broken. 3 seconds is alright. It makes it somewhat fair. I think maybe a little too long, but that's just me. But either way, Static is very interesting. I'm very shocked. Stormrazor. They removed this from the game. I understand why. Barely anyone used it. It was great for energized builds, but energized builds don't really work anymore. An attempt to streamline the energized system. that and have better early buys for champions. It left little room for this item to shine. Yeah, barely anyone really used this. This was a weird item. It was definitely for like poke and stuff, and obviously Jin could make use of it. I don't really know anyone else who really did, so that's fine. Terminus. So Terminus is a weird item. It's obviously an ADC item, but I feel like it's more of a fighter item than anything. Like ADCs can build this, sure, and they did help them out by buffing how fast you stacked it eventually. But I really just feel like it has no place unless you're building on hit. And on hit is so niche. I feel like this item is barely used by the people it's kind of meant for, and it could be just better in fighters' hands. I feel like they should just change this to a fighter item personally. Either way, Terminus is getting a new recipe as well as some small altercations. So the recipe is different, cool. Total cost is unchanged. The attack damage is going down. The attack speed is going up. Barely any different, whatever. Voltaic Cyclosword. I hate this item. I don't understand how this is a marksman item. I don't know what marksman builds this. Either way. So because Kerchisa's shard is no longer here, they have to change this. So what are they doing? It's unchanged. Total cost is unchanged. The build path is changed. Cool. What the fuck is this? Yuntal Wild Arrow. So Yuntal, from what I remember, is I think an Ionia or something. Or is it? What is that from? Yuntal? It's either... I forgot. Fuck, I need to brush up on my lore. No. Yuntal is Ixtal. This is Ixtal. Never mind. It's Kiana's region. I'm fucking stupid. So our goal with Yuntal Wild Arrows is to add an additional option for AD crit users that enables them to keep building offensively while only choosing 1 or 0 attack speed options. This item should be useful for those who have a lot of AD. Jin! Oh! Or those that can quickly deal multiple critical strikes. Maybe Jinx. So let's see what they're doing. So Pickaxe, Noon Quiver, and Gold. So very, very simple build. Crit chance is 25. AD is 65. Let's see the passive. Critical strikes deal 35% total AD physical damage over 2. What? What? We're getting a bleed? Oh, nah. Oh, nah. So the more damage you have, the better this is. I think Jin just got hard. I just got hard. Oh, my lord. I like this a lot. I.e., all the damage is going up. Yo, ADCs are going to bleed you. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna cream. 35% of Jin's AD is like 350 damage almost, because he gets near 1,000 anyway. And that's for every crit. So if you do 2-3 crits, like, and, you're gonna do 4 crits, because you have 100% crit at this point. Holy fucking shit. If this stacks, this is insane. I am so hard. Hello, Jin is right. This got me extremely hard. Zephyr. No one builds this fucking item. Zephyr is back. I forgot if they removed it because I see it in Arena. It might not be in Rift. I might have forgotten. Zephyr is back. This is mostly an experimental take on attempting to give a class that already scales well a way to scale even better. We're mostly interested in seeing if there's any interest in this kind of full build capstone effect we can add to make champions feel satisfied when their build is actually complete. So it's kind of like a mythic without adding in other mythics. So what are they doing? Wait, you need berserkers? You need boots for this. What? So you need boots. It's 3,100. You upgrade it from boots when you get level 15. It still counts as boots. You get attack speed and move speed. And then you gain 5 move speed for 6 seconds, stacking up to 15 times. Is that based on auto attacking? Wait, this is actually insane. Wait, this is so good. You're actually getting a later game thing for just Berserker Greaves, so mostly just ADCs, if not maybe some like auto attack junglers and top laners, like assassins, like Yi, maybe. Holy shit, wait, this is amazing. Oh my god. Heartbound Axe, this is just a component. Well, Heartbound Axe, this is not an ADC item, by the way. I don't know why that's in here. It should have been in Fighter, but... A wanted position has a better epic item in some recipes, and it's just out of pure attack speed. It should give it broader appeal. So the build path is changing. The gold is going up. The attack damage is up. The attack speed is down. Okay, so they're just adjusting it. Cool. Recurve Bow. It's going from magical to physical. Whoop-de-diddly-do. Scout's Slingshot. This is new. It's coming in as a new attack speed component to help bridge some of the newer recipes that don't involve critical strike chance. That's fine. It's just a little attack speed item. That's cool. Damaging champion does an additional 40 magic damage. Wow. Attacks reduce this cooldown by 1 second. What the fuck is the cooldown on it, though? I don't know what the cooldown is, but either way, that seems pretty good. Zeal. Crit chance is going up. Pretty nice. Dagger. Attack speed is going down. Pretty nice. And then finally, Summoner Spell. So we're not even up to the rune yet. I'm already kind of running out of time, so I gotta really, really hurry this up. And we're already at an hour and a half, but so what are they doing? We're taking a small pass at Summoner Spells, but overall, and I'll say this again at the end, I'm very, very, like, I thought this was bad. I'm actually excited as fuck for the ADC changes. I'm actually surprised as hell. I'm very excited. Especially with that Jhin item. Holy fucking shit. I feel like On Hit definitely got shafted, though. For sure, On Hit got shafted. But crit ADC might be back. We might be back. We're taking a small pass to Summoner Spells this patch. Our first goal is to create more differentiation in Summoner Spells. Cooldown timing when Summoner's spells... Oh, sorry. Many summoners only had 30 seconds separating their cooldowns, which meant windows of relative power were few and far between. We're enforcing at least 60 seconds between cooldown tiers. I think that's good, which should create more opportunities to utilize summoner advantage over your opponent, which is very good. We generally took an approach of matching cooldowns, combat warping, okay. So what are they doing? They're also retuning various summoner spells. The power levels of Exhaust and Cleanse were fine. Nice. So Ghost. Ghost is going up in cooldown, and the duration is getting lesser. Ghost is an extremely combat warping summoner spell. Yeah, especially for Darius top lane. It's picked almost ubiquitously by ADCs, which I feel like is lying, and cheapening a lot of top lane fighters versus fighting combined. We think Ghost could do a significant nerf. Nice, so they're nerfing it. Nice, they are. I think Ghost is already too simple. It's whatever. But that just goes to show you how powerful move speed is. Cleanse. I feel like Cleanse is not that good. But that's just me. Maybe it's better in higher elo. Cleanse can really shut down some champions, which means it deserves a fairly long cooldown, which is somewhat true. It's not necessarily overpowered in current league. We're compensating... Yeah, because there's so much fucking CC. We're compensating its cooldown there for the small tenacity buff. Wow. Okay, cool. Alright, not bad. Exhaust. Exhaust is a shell of its former self, by the way. This summoner spell used to, like, reduce damage, reduce MR and armor, and reduce move speed, and I think attack speed, but don't quote me on the last one. But move speed, armor, and MR and damage are things it all used to reduce. Exhaust is meant to be roughly as powerful as before, as unique summoner spell with crowd control attached. We're choosing a way to play up its lockdown while raising its cooldown. So the slow is getting a little bit higher. Nice. So they're just making summoner spells a little bit more powerful sometimes, but lasting longer on cooldown. Or sorry, lasting longer. Or not lasting longer, but being on cooldown longer. That's the better way of saying it. So barrier. I feel like this is very underutilized, but let's see. We're choosing 2.5 seconds for the shield duration in order to make it moderately forgiving button to press that should reliably block a solid amount of damage, which hopefully outperforms Exhaust. Well, it should be outperforming Heal relatively. An additional 50% shielding on top should make Barrier a competitive option with other summoners. So the duration is going up, and the shielding is going up as well. That's pretty good. All around. Nice. So Heal. They're just tweaking the range. Nice. Domination Rune Tree. Okay, so this is the big ones. I really, really got to hurry with this, but let's see what we're going to do. Anyway, let's see what's going on. So we have Predator. Predator's being removed. I didn't like this. Not many people use this, so that's fine. Hail of Blades. Ranged user would risk far less to get the same value out of Hail of Blades. This should help even the risk-reward structure. Wait, what? Wait, so... 100% for range for melee. Wait, what? They're nerfing it for ranged. Oh, well. I really don't like this anyway, so that's fine. Ingenious Hunter's been removed. That's fine. I feel like no one really built this that much. Anyway. Cool. Sudden Impact. I feel like Sudden Impact is decently really good on certain people. Obviously, a lot of people have movement. And there's only like 2 things in the game that counter it. It's pretty much just Poppy and Vex. But I feel like Sudden Impact is a very good rune. I wouldn't be surprised if they nerfed it. A sub-goal of these rune changes was to remove lethality and magic pen from the rune system. This should keep the rune in a fairly similar place. So what are they doing? Dealing damage within 4 seconds of using any movement grants some pen. To now, it just deals bonus true damage, which I think is going to make this a lot more lethal potentially. Or at the very least, it's going to make it a lot more noticeable. Wow. Sudden Impact's pretty good still. Nice. And then Relentless Hunter. I actually really like this one. Relentless Hunter has been overperforming because, like I said, move speed is a very strong stat. So they're nerfing it by giving you 0 to begin with instead of 5. That's nice. Okay, Precision Tree. This is going to be one where I wish I had more time to talk, but I really got to go soon. So, Lethal Tempo. Lethal Tempo has been extremely disruptive to both the IM system by allowing a huge number of champions and classes to bypass attack speed limitations, but also to gameplay patterns by allowing champions to miss a lot of key skills but still be able to just auto you down. We've been unhappy with this rune for a long time and figured now was the best time to make a big but overdue change. I'm really sad they're removing this. I think this was one of my favorite runes in existence. I'm very, very sad because this is one of the things that lets you break the attack speed cap. Now, granted, was it probably really hard to balance around? Was it a nightmare? Maybe. But I just really liked what this did. And obviously, it wasn't good on anyone, but it was good on most people. And it did probably get abused. So I kind of understand where they're coming from. But I just really, really love this rune, man. It's really sad how disruptive it was. And maybe if it didn't break the attack speed cap, it wouldn't be as disruptive. But the fact that it gave more range, too, was great. But they had to keep nerfing this shit. This shit was like giga nerfed so many times. I mean, at least it's put to rest finally, but Jesus Christ. So afterward, PTA. Hopefully they can have something that's as good, or maybe they add something new. PTA. To help catch the users displaced by the loss of lethal tempo, RIP, PTA has gotten some major adjustments that change the rune from a single target buff to a selfish self buff that allows front to back play and target swapping. So I think the main issue, and this was the same thing that happened with Kraken Slayer, was the fact that you had to stick on the same target. Now that's all nice and dandy, but what if people ignore that target? What if you have to switch targets? I don't think that's good. This leads to a lot of, I don't want to say downtime, but a lot of time where it's like, it's kind of wasted. Like you really just missed your opportunity. It's very, I think, frustrating as a rune. So let's see what they're doing. Keep in mind the self buff does not lock you out from getting future 3-hit triggers. Let's see this shit. Hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive attacks deals bonus damage, rendering the target exposed, causing them to take 8% increased damage from all sources. So now it's hitting the champion with 3 attacks, still does the damage, which is the same, but it also amplifies your damage dealt by 8% until you leave combat. So if this actually stacks with itself, because it says it, you can target swap without losing the amplification, and the self buff doesn't lock you out from getting future 3-hit triggers. So if this stacks, this is kind of OP. It's kind of crazy. It's a ramping thing similar to Lethal. Lethal was ramping. Like obviously once you fully stacked it, you got extra range, you felt good. This, if you like keep stacking it, is kind of insane. I don't know if they're gonna have it be just like it refreshes, it stacks on itself, everything refreshes. They don't provide enough information here, but overall, I think this is just better straight across the board. It's straight up better. A lot of ADCs are going to take this, and obviously they can't take this. They're going to have to go to this. Overheal has been removed because barely anyone used it, and it was kind of weak. Absorb Life. This rune is aimed to give precision users a way to heal back in between skirmishes. Killing a target restores health. That's really good. That's actually really good. Holy fucking shit, that's so good. Tenacity is being removed, which is sad. I wonder if they're moving it somewhere else, but Tenacity now is the least engaged by far. We want to make it clearly present the opt-in stat, not hidden minor runes. Will be closely observing this. Okay, cool. So now they have haste. This looks like godly sin. Wow. To replace Tenacity, we want to target a new stat that would already not satisfied. So now you're getting ability haste, which is not bad. Cut down. Cut down was interesting. I feel like most people just did coup de grace but cut down wasn't terrible, but not many people used it, even though it was pretty good. Cut down in its previous forms was asking the player to opt in to counter a tanky champion before the game even started, and before any tanks in the game had a chance to be strong or weak. We want the decision to opt into anti-tank. Okay. So what are they doing? I really have to rush because I have to go really soon. So we're going to blast through this shit now. This has been a long-ass patch, though. So deal 5 to 15% increased damage to champions based on how much more max health they have than you. To now deal 8% increased damage to champions above 6% max health. I think this is overall better. Nice. Fleet footwork. Fleet footwork healing was too strong. I completely disagree with that. And with the new sustain rune in the system, we want to ensure users can just wash it. So what they should move into, if they don't want this to be sustained, they should have it be just straight move speed. Have the move speed last for a little longer. Now again, I know how strong move speed is. I've been preaching it this entire time, but the heal at this point should just be fucking like ignored and just go into the move speed. I'm glad they're increasing the duration from 1 to 1.25, but nerfing the heal by 2 early, it's like, what does that do? And 20 late, sure, but I really want them to just move more into the move speed. Like, honestly, the healing is whatever. Just move this into fully move speed. So as well, Font of Life, this is for barely anyone. I feel like barely anyone uses this. It's very altruistic. What are they doing to it? Sowing your mobilizing champions heal you and nearby ally with at least one. Oh, wow. Okay. So before you needed to, like, actually proc it by actively doing something. Now it's just like they take that away. They're just like, okay, now you get healed. That's pretty good. Inspiration tree. So they're rearranging it. Future market has been removed. This was kind of stupid. Cash back. Who doesn't love getting a little bit more money? Get 6% gold back on purchase of a legendary item. Wow, so it's a not as toxic version of this. That's pretty cool. Being dematerializer has been removed. I feel like this caused a lot of issues, so this makes sense. Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades. Wow. A new rune that rewards those who plan ahead and cook up crazy builds. What? For each unique stat on the items you have purchased, gain a stacking bonus. 1 haste per stack. 5 stacks get 10 force. 10 stacks get 25. This is weird. It looks like TF's cards though, which is funny, but I don't know who the fuck would use this. Time Warp Tonic. This was a thing that I feel like was never really used unless it was abused, so they probably nerfed it, now they're giving huge buffs to it. No longer reduces the healing of potions, but now there's upfront healing. Remove the bonus move speed. Nice. First strike. Lower the ceiling for gold gain while bringing up the floor. Gold gain in most games should remain the same, while someone snowballing will not be the spec. Okay, so this is fine. Air imbalance changes, we don't care. Arena, I want to go over quickly. I love Arena. I think Arena is great. It's getting a little bit stale. I think as long as they like change the augments, it should be fine. But let me read a little bit. So reviving. So the reviving time is going slightly higher, which is fine, I guess. Matchmaking ranked will finally be enabled. Thank God. You deserve a celebration. Hats off to you. Cool. Arena God title ranked wins from 168 to 60. Nice. Right click on all. Okay. Champion select now always randomizes pick order. Nice. Cameos. Jim was a bit too good of a sniper. Yeah, he was pretty good, but I'm not going to go too far into this. So missile speed is less. This should be easier to dodge. Nice. Augments and prismatics. Here's the big one. We've made many improvements to the rules behind what augments you are offered. We're not going to go into explicit detail here, but it goes to reduce the chances of the augment that you literally can't use. A lot of problems came up with this where a lot of the time I got augments where it was giving me AP, it was giving me like all these other stats that I literally can't use on some champions. So either way. So let's see. What are they doing? It's fun to make things big. It shows what it's true. So size adjustments now apply to clones. Goliath, mad scientist, raid boss. Okay. Prismatics. We heard your pain when rerolling prismatics and still not getting something you feel you can build around, which is a big issue. You get a lot of APMs for AD. We've increased the odds that you'll get a prismatic tailored to your champion class. We still think there's plenty of room to adapt this. So off build, but they want to make it at least a little bit better. So augments, they're nerfing and buffing some of them. I'm not going to go over this too much, but these are the nitty gritty, sure. And then there's champion specific buffs, which we don't care about, at least right now. If I had more time, I'd probably go over these more, but either way. Many item changes from summoners have been moved to arena with few exceptions. Zephyr has been removed, stack shived, whatever. Cool. And that's going to be it. Mythic shop rotations, we don't care. Bug fixes, Azir W no longer go through Jaxi Shen W, which is kind of crazy. It did. Italy got visual clarity. Ash got visual clarity. Nice. And bug fixes. Okay, cool. Either way, these are the upcoming skins. Lux got another skin. Whoop-de-doo. Soraka got another skin. Holy shit. Lilia got a skin. Thank God. Tristana got another skin. Wow. It's an AD, though. And then Victoria's Kog'Maw. I don't know which one of these are legendaries, but they look really good. I don't know how or why people like Fairy Court. I guess because they're showing their feet. But overall, it's not bad. I'm just sad at the choices, except Tristana. Lux did not need another one. Lux already has like fucking Elementalist. Why does she need this? But either way, that's going to be it. The skins are pretty good overall. I'm actually very excited for the AD changes. I think they did a lot. I think this patch is huge. I will honestly rate this an 8 out of 10. I might rate it more if the AD changes are good, but we just honestly don't know. They changed Corki. They changed the AD items. They changed a lot. I at first thought it was bad, but it's actually pretty good. Anyway, that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed. I'm sorry that this was so long. I'm sorry that I had to rush it. It would have been even longer, but I have to go. But either way, hope everyone enjoyed. 8 out of 10 Mark Merrills. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks where hopefully this is a lot less and not as bad. Please watch my Twitch TV channel.